I've got good news if you're a red squirrel. So, a colony of red squirrels has been discovered in North Yorkshire. That's rare because in the UK we don't really have the red squirrels anymore, we just have the grey squirrels. Those aren't native to here, those are native to North America. But in 1876, a Victorian banker by the name of Thomas Brocklehurst decided to release into the wild a pair of American grey squirrels that he had brought back with him from a business trip to America. Other landowners thought that this was a fun novelty, so they also released American greys into their gardens as well. But they're not just going to stay in your garden, are they? Violet, William, third Victorian sounding name. No, they're going to go everywhere. And they did. Invasive species bring invasive viruses, and the grey squirrel carries the squirrelpox virus, which to greys is unpleasant but survivable because they evolved alongside it. But red squirrels didn't evolve alongside it, and the mortality rate for untreated, infected red squirrels in the wild is extremely high, most dying within 4 to 5 days of being infected. Nearly 150 years later, and the greys are the dominant squirrel, with numbers in the 2.7 million area, and they inhabit much of the woodland across the UK. However, there have been a small number of individual cases of red squirrels surviving the squirrelpox virus. In 2013, a red squirrel was picked up with ulcers around its eyes, nose and mouth, all common symptoms of squirrelpox, and it tested positive for the virus. After 2 months of care in an RSPCA centre, it tested negative again and was set free, but this is resistance, not immunity. For immunity, the red squirrels will need to survive alongside the virus for a very long time, hoping that a big wave doesn't come along and wipe them all out. Or we humans could intervene and develop a vaccine to protect the red squirrel population against the squirrelpox virus. After a successful petition, the Welsh government did a feasibility study, and apparently the UK government is thinking about asking if there are any groups interested in developing a vaccine for squirrelpox. But I think evolution is probably faster than bureaucracy in this case. There is hope though, in the small furry form of the pine marten, thought to be extinct in England and found only in parts of Scotland. However, more recently it's been found as far south as the New Forest. The pine marten is not a picky eater, and it will happily eat the grey and the red squirrels. The pine marten is not here for conservation, the pine marten is here for lunch. But here's the twist. The grey squirrels are larger, slower, and spend a lot more time on the ground, but the red squirrels co-evolved with the pine marten, and so their instinct is not to hang around where they might get munched. As a result, where pine martens are found, the invasive grey squirrel numbers kind of tank, but the red squirrel numbers tend to recover, because they have evolved to coexist with the pine marten. So, in effect, the pine marten has returned to bring balance to the forest. To bring balance to the forest. I will admit to a bias here, because I don't like the grey squirrels nearly as much as I like the red squirrels, because the red squirrels, they're a more fun colour, they've got a floofier tail, and they've got pointier ears. What more do you want in an animal? But the grey squirrels are victims in this situation as much as the red squirrels or the pine martens. It was people that went over to America, scooped up a bunch of squirrels that were presumably quite happy with their lives, and dumped them in the UK. And all they've done is all they've evolved to do, survive and try and thrive, and they've done very well at it. And it's humans that cleared away the natural habitats of the pine marten and hunted them to the point where they didn't really exist in England. But it's also humans that are learning from our mistakes, albeit slowly, and reintroducing native species like the pine marten back into their natural habitat. 19 pine martens were just reintroduced into Exmoor, where they haven't been seen in over a century. So unfortunately, it seems like the greys that were forcibly brought over to this country are now going to be hunted down by the native wildlife that we formerly displaced. So if you ever did, don't hate the grey squirrel, pity the grey squirrel, and at least be glad that we live in a time where nature has the ability to heal itself now that we've taken our thumb off the scale. That's all for this video, thanks very much for watching. Sorry it got a little bit dark in the middle, but at least there was a silver lining towards the end. I am running a special. Subscribing is absolutely free on whatever day you are watching this. Thanks very much and have a lovely day. Bye!